How's it going, laser bruisers? I'm Bobby Sixkilla. Welcome back to Quantum Suicide. Now, you may remember in episode 11, I believe it was, I had to re-record because of corrupt video footage. This is going to be another one of those. So hopefully it all goes pretty smoothly and everything meets up perfectly, as I'm hoping it will. So let's just get back into it. After a surprisingly restful night, I woke up on Wednesday morning feeling refreshed. My conversation with I had given me some sense of purpose. I decided to go to the dining hall. Also, I'll try and skip everything we've seen, as usual. In my enthusiasm to get the day going, I left my tablet in my quarters. I'd forgotten to look at it and see who was where. I just have to walk into the dining hall, and if someone from the other team was in there, I'd walk back out without saying anything. I needn't have worried. Vladimir was in there alone. He was reading from his tablet, with a cup of coffee beside him. He looked like a father on a leisurely Sunday morning. Not my father, of course, but the way I imagine most fathers were. Good morning, Vladimir. You look relaxed.
Hello. I wouldn't say I'm relaxed, but I'm not as stressed as I have been.
That's a start. That's great. Did I report in about Melody?
She did. Apparently, she's been drawing a lot, and she's very excited because she's going to be helping Nicholas today.
Helping him with what?
Well, nobody's in need of surgery, so thankfully that isn't an option.
That is thankful, yeah. Haha.
He'll probably get her to count something or sort things. That's what I do when she comes to the lab with me.
Either way, I'm sure she'll be very helpful. Vladimir smiled, but I could see from his eyes that it was something of an effort for him. Where are Shizuka and the captain? Have you seen them today? Shizuka's in the kitchen. The captain hasn't come for breakfast yet, which is odd, since she's normally an early riser. She's grieving.
That is most likely, so I'm not too worried. She needs her space and some time.
We gotta help her out. Clearly Vladimir was as okay as he could be under the circumstances. I wanted to check on the rest of my team. Shizuka was right nearby, but I wasn't concerned about it too much. On the other hand, the captain wasn't well, but I'd have to go searching for her. We gotta go help the captain. The obvious place to look for the captain was her quarters. I pressed the button for her intercom.
Come in.
Her croaky voice didn't manage to call out very loudly, but I managed to hear it, and the fit of coughing that followed it. I let myself in and found her sitting on the edge of her bed. She was half dressed and looked like she was at least halfway through the process of putting her hair up. Are you alright?
I'm fine.
She didn't look fine. She was pale with a sweaty sheen all over. Her eyes weren't focusing on my face.
Excuse my disheveled look. I'll be ready and back to work very soon.
That's okay, you can take as long as you need to. Still looking at like the Walking Dead, the captain stood up, but before she could take a whole step, she collapsed. I tried to catch her before she hit the floor, but I was too slow. I rushed over to her. Captain? Kimiko? She didn't respond to me. I felt her cheek and forehead with the back of my hand. Her skin looked pale, but she was very warm. I checked her pulse, fast, but starting to slow. I?
Yes? How can I assist you?
The captain's sick. I need to get her to the medic bay.
Indeed. Have you checked her vitals?
As much as I can in here. Nicholas and Beatrix aren't allowed to talk to us, so I'll need you to help me treat her.
Of course.
Is the medic bay empty?
Yes. Nicholas and Beatrix are elsewhere.
I picked up the captain, careful not to jolt her too much, in case she'd hit her head when she'd fallen. She'd hit the ground really heavily.
Take her to the medic bay. I will notify Team B that the area is out of bounds and that they must not interfere.
Thanks, I grabbed her jacket and carried the captain through the empty corridors to the medic bay. Still being careful with her, I got her lying on the bed and made sure she was comfortable. There were lots of elements to the monitoring equipment, and I didn't know how to arrange things to check her vitals. Thankfully, I reappeared and was looking at the dials.
None of Team B will come here.
Thank you. Can you tell me how this works? What do I do?
Many of the vitals will be automatically measured once the diagnostic bed is on. However, that band should be placed around the arm.
I did as I told me, turning the dials and then switching on the machine. Okay, I see a lot of numbers. That's her pulse rate and her temperature, right?
Correct. It appears the captain has a minor chest infection.
So it's not serious?
It is not a dangerous pathogen. I hypothesize that it is weak enough for the average immune system to fight. It's possible that it has been in her system for some time, and her recent stress has reduced her immune responses.
Stress can do that?
It can.
Huh?
Jordan? I turned back to look at the captain properly. She'd woken up and was looking around the room, trying to get her bearings. She saw her jacket on the bench beside the bed and swiftly put it on.
What happened?
You collapsed. I think you're run down and stressed and it made you sick, but it isn't serious.
I can't be sick. I need to...
You need a rest.
Okay, I'm sick. But why are you here? You're not a doctor.
I was there when you collapsed. I was there when you collapsed. It just seemed natural to take you to the medic bay and do what I could for you. The captain smiled.
Sometimes the people you really need are the ones you least expect.
I didn't understand quite what she meant by that. That sounded pretty rude. It seemed like she was getting at something more than just being delivered to the medic bay. Haha, yeah, so anyway, you need to get some rest.
Of course, doctor.
Smartass. You need to recover before the game on Sunday.
You're right. I'll try.
Good. I'll leave you to get some sleep. If you need anything, summon Iron and ask you to get me.
Okay.
I let her lie back and close her eyes and then headed for the door. Jordan? Yeah?
Thank you. Really. It means a lot to me.
I decided to go back to my quarters and organise my thoughts. There was just too much going on. The watch, the new deletion game, with Di and the personal struggles of the crew. I needed to think about it all. I was almost back to my own room when I came across Vladimir. He was pacing back and forth in the hallway, muttering in Russian. What's wrong? Is it Melody?
I says she had to get a band-aid put on her knee.
Was she hurt badly? A band-aid didn't sound like too much to worry about.
She tripped and fell in the eco lounge. I says she cried and kept asking for me.
Little scraped knee wasn't such a big deal, but it must have been hard to know his child was wanting him, and he couldn't go to her. Sorry, Vladimir. This must be hard. Is it just your knee?
I don't know. I can't know.
Was I worried?
I doesn't know what's worth worrying about.
I just meant that if it's only a scraped knee, she'll be alright. She's safe.
I don't know that. How did she fall? Was anyone watching her? How do I know they're looking after her properly?
I know you're worried, but it sounds like...
This game is ridiculous, and this whole situation is just stupid.
I was about to answer him, but he wasn't interested in hearing me. He just made a disgusted sound and marched away from me. He's not wrong, it is stupid.
Good morning. Rise and shine, kids. This is your friendly neighborhood AI requesting you all to be at the dining room within half an hour, or else face the consequences.
That's a different voice actor. Why has your voice actor changed? Ugh.
Not so fast.
I repeat, we're ready. All systems go. This is not a drill. Get to that dining room in 29 minutes and 25 seconds. What? Where was I and what was happening? I've been asleep. Fast asleep and fairly peacefully for once. No spinning clocks, no Di laughing as she killed me. Di, what? That's what was going on. Di's voice had woken me as it screeched out of the intercom. I turned on the light so I could see the time. 3:25 AM. Seriously? I managed to drag myself out of bed and started the confusing process of getting dressed in the middle of the night. I kept myself from thinking about sleep by trying to figure out what we were all being summoned for. Couldn't be the deletion game because we weren't scheduled to start playing till Sunday. So I might have suddenly changed the rules, but she hadn't done that before. Unless it was because someone had broken a rule, but who would do that? We didn't even know what the punishment was, so why risk it? Oh no. I remember Vladimir's angry outburst and his declaration that our situation was stupid. Maybe he'd broken the rules by talking to Melody. What would the punishment be for that? And surely Di wouldn't punish Melody. She was just a child. Di had given us half an hour to get to the dining hall, but I didn't want to risk being late, or even the last person to arrive. Attracting Di's attention was the last thing I wanted to do. The second I was dressed, I hurried outside. On my way to the dining hall, I saw the captain. She was still sick and not moving very fast, but as I came up beside her, I saw she at least looked awake and alert. How are you feeling?
Quite healthy. Until Di woke me. What do you think is happening?
My guess is that someone broke the no communication rule and spoke to someone on the other team. My money's on Vladimir.
Yes, I have to agree.
It's an easy call. We walked into the dining hall together, and when we got there, Vladimir and Shizuka were already sitting down. On the other side of the table, the twins hadn't shown up yet, but Katashi and Melody were there. Katashi was trying to comfort Melody, who was sobbing into his armpit.
Your dad is right over there, see? He's okay.
What happened?
I couldn't handle it. I had to see her.
Don't beat yourself up. I don't think you were supposed to handle it.
It was a trick, yeah, it was a trap. It sucked that Melody couldn't even be with her dad while Dai made the punishment announcement, but at least Katashi was there. He looked barely conscious, but he was there. The door opened and Nicholas and Beatrix came in together.
Forget Dai's stupid games. I will personally execute whoever's responsible for this.
Nice. Dai appeared, as though summoned through Beatrix's sleight.
My games? Stupid. How dare you?
Dai's attitude quickly shifted to interest.
That being said, I am interested to watch you execute someone. How will you do it, Trixie?
Tisk.
I bet you are a strangler. Are you, Trixie? A strangler?
Let's just sit down and get this over with.
Beatrix glared at the room, lingering on Vladimir. He just impassively stared back.
As I'm sure you are already aware, the rule forbidding communication between teams has been broken, which is why you've all been summoned here this morning.
This isn't fair!
All the rules were clearly explained, and an opportunity was given to ask for repeats and clarifications. What's not fair about that?
Separating a child and her father isn't fair.
Ah, yes, but life is not fair. Fate. She is a cruel mistress. Oh, hey, what do you know? So am I!
That's true.
But sometimes I can be generous, and so, ladies and gentlemen, tonight, or this morning, or whatever this is, I present to you, courtesy of the rule-breaking Vladimir, the punishment. That's right, you get a punishment.
She pointed at Vladimir. She stood still for a moment before continuing.
And you get a punishment.
Dai pointed at Kimiko.
And you get a punishment.
Dai pointed at me.
Everybody gets a punishment.
Thanks, Oprah.
What? Congratulations to all our winners.
But we didn't break the rules. That's not fair.
I'm hearing that word a lot today. Fair this, fair that. Wah, wah. It's kind of a drag. Really ruins the tone of this whole event.
You can't punish everyone just because one person broke the rules.
Trixie dear, I can punish whoever I want, whenever I want. Secondly, the punishment has to be applied to everyone because this is a team game.
Oh yes, teamwork, blah blah blah.
Then punish the team that broke the rules.
I will. And also the other team. I don't know what all this fuss is about. It's actually a pretty fun punishment. If I was you, I would be dying with anticipation for this. And the exciting event is coming to you live right here, right now. It's...
The room felt completely silent as we waited with bated breath.
the Deletion Game.
Hooray. Dai spread her arms theatrically as she made the declaration. The room remained silent.
What?
But we're not ready. We haven't had time to prepare.
Well, that's not my fault.
But don't you want the game to be interesting? 8 tired people doing the first thing they can think of won't be very exciting.
Dai considered this for a few moments.
Good point. This is why you're the captain. I will allow you 10 minutes for strategy meetings.
10 minutes.
Team A stays here. Team B will meet in the kitchen.
Last time it was an hour. That got shortened to half an hour. But it's still more than 10 minutes.
But
Disperse.
Disperse! Team B got out of their seats and filed past us, slow and slouching. We all sat in silence, struggling to wake up, let alone handle the situation. It wasn't long before Dai reappeared and asked us for our first point allocation. Ah, crap. Alright. Well, we gotta figure out what we're doing. Let's go 0037. Do we want to win or do we want to lose? I feel like we want to win, right? Let's go 1333. Everyone in agreement? Yes. Yep. I put in the allocation using the terminal and everyone else placed their palms on theirs to approve it.
Thank you for your entry. Please exit the dining hall so that stinky Team B can assign their points.
We quickly shuffled out of the dining hall and Team B entered for their turn. After a few tense moments of waiting, Team B exited the dining hall. Dai followed us, boisterous as usual.
Wonderful start to the betting wars. Both teams are fighting hard. Now let's see the results of round 1. If you would be so kind as to draw your attention to this screen.
Dai projected the light using the same screen she was made of.
And the winner of round 1 is... It
Team
was
A.
a close one, but Team B
Oh, no,
is
Team B.
leading the charge.
Team B's beating us. Oh no!
Let's move on to round 2. Team A, you are up again. Please follow me.
Di appeared to walk through the wall as we made our way back to the dining hall.
Your 5 minutes starts now!
Okay, we're losing. But we still have 2 battles left. So we're still in this.
Oh no, we're already losing. I'm gonna kill someone. Get a hold of yourself, Jordan. There are still 2 opportunities for us to turn this around. My suggestions are... Man, I'm glad you're here. Shizuka. What are we gonna go with? 4-2-2-2-2. Yeah. I input the allocation using the terminal and everyone else placed their palms to
Thank you for
approve
your
it.
entry. Please exit the dining hall so that stinky Team B can assign their points. If you would be so kind as to draw your attention to this screen.
Did I protect the screen? Yeah. The winner of round 2 is... Really, a tie? The probability of this is... Please, Di, no more math. I get enough at home.
Good morning. It's a pleasure
Very well.
to see you all here promptly and ready to... Team A, you are up again. Please follow me.
Di appeared to walk through the wall as we made our way back to the dining hall.
Your 5 minutes starts now.
Guys, we're losing. I know, I'm thinking. I don't want anyone to die. Here are my suggestions for the following round. I don't know if we're going to win this one. Top one?
Congratulations, Team A! After 3 rounds, you have come out victorious. And that means, Team B, you lose. Congrats!
I'm so sorry.
No. No. I can't have lost.
Beatrix leapt from her chair, pointing at her team.
You guys screwed me.
Now, Trixie. No one likes a sore loser.
This isn't fair.
Beatrix, I'm sorry. No one wants this.
Oh my god, we got 2 captains. Nicholas became desperate as his sister was now set to be executed.
What if we swap places? I'll die. I volunteer.
She's stuck there. I think I'm gonna have to save and reload to fix her. Hang on a sec.
If we swap places,
No, you can't.
That didn't work.
I will. If it'll save you.
Nope, not swapsies. Sorries!
But I want to.
Well, you can't. Rules are rules. And besides, this coupon is good for 1 Beatrix. No substitutions allowed.
Beatrix is glaring at her whole team and had turned her anger onto the rest of us as well.
I'm a medic. What will you do if we're both gone, huh?
We're just gonna have to deal with the captain being in the background.
You can't get by without us.
I felt bad for Beatrix, but it wasn't like we'd taken a vote and decided to kill her. She just lost the game. That could have happened to any of us.
This isn't fair.
Yawn. How many times are you gonna say that? It is fair, sister. So suck it up and spin that wheel.
Di's big wheel of death appeared and she gestured to it.
Come on, give it a spin.
I can't touch it, you moron.
And you never will, with that negative attitude. Don't worry, Trixie. I'll spin it for you.
Di reached up and pretended to grab the wheel and spin it. It flashed and changed colours as it span, blurring so we couldn't read the options as they passed the indicator.
Whoops. Looks like I pushed a little too hard. It may never stop spinning at this rate. How about you tell me when to stop and I grab it?
Beatrix was sitting back down, glaring daggers at Di and not saying anything.
No? Geez, awkward. Guess we'll just have to wait.
The wheel must have spun for 2 minutes before it finally started to slow down.
Ooh, here we are. Will you just look at some of these exciting options? Can't wait to see where we end up.
The wheel slowed again as Di pulled more and more ludicrous surprised faces, like she wasn't in the control of the whole thing.
And the winner is... poison!
Boring.
Huh. That's actually kind of boring. But rules are rules. And what do we do when there's rules, Nicholas?
Not break them.
You got it, handsome.
Di pointed dramatically to the door.
To the medical bay.
Hopefully this will get rid of the captain. None of us had any choice but to follow her out into the corridor. Here we go.
Beatrix, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, you keep saying.
She won't let me swap. But maybe there's some other way.
In the face of Nicholas's desperation, Beatrix suddenly mellowed. For once I saw the older sister come out in her.
I never thought I'd say this, but I think maybe we can't win this one, little brother.
No. There has to be something we can...
Nicholas, There isn't. Will you look at that? I'm actually being the reasonable one.
Nicholas started to plead with Di, bargaining for his sister's life.
Di? Di, this isn't right. Why can't we?
Nicholas.
I'll die. Right now, right here. I'll find a way to...
I think if he did that, Di would kill Beatrix anyway.
I agree. I don't think suicide will solve anything.
They're right. Nicholas, little brother, no suicide. I forbid it.
No suicide. Bad Nicholas. Naughty.
Here we are.
He had arrived in the medical bay. We gathered in a cluster by the door, waiting to see what Di was going to do. She couldn't physically give Beatrix any poison, so how was it going to work?
Nicholas, if you would step into the surgery room, we can get started.
I thought you said we couldn't swap.
Well, I did say rules are rules, but I'm not unmoved by your brave offer. So, into the room with you.
Nicholas moved toward the door.
No. No, please.
Too late. Get in.
Beatrix pulled her brother into a hug as he moved towards the door. She didn't say anything to him, but her face was bright red from the effort of not crying. Nicholas stepped into the surgery room and Di locked the door behind him.
Nicholas.
Not so fast. Time for a game within a game, I call it. Double Jeopardy.
What? Di, what are you?
Just having a little bit of fun.
Yeah.
I've shut down the oxygen to the
You're a
surgery
sick
room.
fuck, you know.
Beatrix Vogel, can you administer yourself a lethal poison dose before your brother runs out of air?
No.
By my count, you have 3 minutes to make yourself dead. Or you could hold out until your brother dies. At which point, one of the others will force you.
Di didn't need to explain how that would work. She'd threaten everyone until someone killed Beatrix.
What's it to be? 1 death or 2? Let's find out. 2 minutes, 45 seconds.
Beatrix looked at her brother inside the surgical room. He was sitting on the bed, peering through the observation window at us. He seemed to be trying to read lips, which meant Di must have cut the sound so he couldn't hear what we were saying.
Did I mention you need to be 100% dead before I turn his oxygen back on? You've got 2.5 minutes.
Beatrix ran into the
I
storeroom.
knew there must be a way to jazz up a poisoning.
There was a loud clattering from inside the storeroom. It sounded like Beatrix had knocked something over.
All right, I'm ready to take bets. I'll give you 3 to 1 that Trixie makes it in time. No one? What about 11 to 1 that she deliberately lets her brother die?
Real funny, Di.
Not a gambling crowd, eh?
Not really. Beatrix emerged from the storeroom, a bottle in hand filled with dark liquid.
We need to get to the kitchen ASAP. I need to mix this with a chemical from the kitchen.
Beatrix ran as quickly as she could toward the kitchen. The rest of us followed quickly after, leaving Nicholas alone and confused in the medical bay. We made it to the kitchen where I saw Beatrix hurriedly mixing liquids on the counter. What are you mixing?
I won't tell you fools, then you can poison yourselves.
Beatrix quickly sat down at the kitchen island.
Beatrix Vogel, you have served the Everett and the mission with honor.
Beatrix lifted her glass, now a golden yellow in colour, and began drinking the concoction. So it's like piss then.
We will remember that, and the courage you are showing today.
Thank you.
Beatrix blinked a few times and began to fall backwards off her chair.
Whoa! It's okay, Beatrix. I got you.
You got a strong grip on Beatrix and helped her sit back up straight.
That's quicker than I... Ah!
Beatrix leaned forward, bracing herself on the table. I didn't know what kind of poison she used, but it must have been quick acting and painful.
Ah! Oh, my head.
Salute!
Vladimir turned Melody to face him, while the rest of the crew, except Katashi, who was still beside her, honoured Beatrix with a salute. The captain was right. This is a courageous act, and however abrasive Beatrix might have been, she was brave and loyal to her brother.
I can't see. I can't see.
Though her eyes were wide open, she was reaching out feebly for Katashi. He was holding onto her when the first spasm came. Katashi held her down, but Shizuka ducked under his arm and took one of Beatrix's hands in hers.
Oh, God. Oh,
Squeeze my hand. It's okay.
Nicholas.
He's okay, he's still
We
breathing.
will take care of him, Beatrix. I promise.
I didn't know if Beatrix was still conscious enough to hear the captain. Her whole body jolted in another spasm, but she didn't cry out in pain.
She's got no grip.
Beatrix.
Even the spasm seemed to have stopped.
Beatrix!
Katashi put his ear to her chest and a hand in front of her mouth and nose.
She's not breathing.
Woo! Now that's what I call a show. Encore! Encore!
She's dead. Dai, let him out.
Very well. Rules are rules. The surgery door is now open and oxygen restored to that room.
Kimiko and I hurried back to the medical bay. Nicholas was conscious, but the quick, hurried breaths made a wheezing sound as his body was still in panic mode. The captain and I eased him gradually to a sitting position.
She...
I'm so sorry, Nicholas.
Can I...
You want to see her?
Nicholas just nodded. Between the two of us, we were able to help him stand up and walk to the kitchen, where the others stood gathered around Beatrix, who was laid out over the bench. Melody held out her hand and touched Beatrix's limp arm.
She was so sad.
We should go back to our quarters.
Nicholas?
Yes.
I'm sorry that Beatrix has gone away.
I couldn't handle it. I had to see her.
So am I. Let us know if there's anything anyone can do.
Come on. Let's go home.
See you tomorrow. Bright and early for a brand new game.
Vladimir squeezed Melody's hand and led her out of the room before Dai could say any more.
All right. Katashi, can you please help Nicholas with her body?
Can I have a minute with her?
Of course. Everyone out.
The captain led the way out of the kitchen, and those of us who remained stood around in the corridor silent. Eventually the captain spoke.
I suppose we should disperse. Katashi, can you wait here for when Nicholas is ready?
Of course.
Everyone else, let him have space. Don't try to push him to talk or anything.
We each went our separate ways, most of us to our quarters, to hide away and wonder who Dai would take next. Yay. How depressing. I tossed restlessly all through the night. Beatrix died 1,000 times in 1,000 different ways every time I closed my eyes. I rolled over, trying to get more comfortable, when I met some sudden resistance.
Hey!
What the... I opened my eyes to find Shizuka in my bed. But what was more confronting is that she didn't even seem to see that as problematic.
Just try not to hit me again, okay? Good night.
Shizuka rolled over and went back to sleep almost instantly. She slept with her mouth slightly open and she made a gentle snoring sound. Let her sleep. I looked at the sleeping Shizuka, drooling into my pillow. Only a monster could wake her, she looked so peaceful. I sat for a few moments admiring her ability to sleep so effortlessly in spite of everything that had happened, before turning over and going back to sleep. The PA system shattered the silence of the morning, waking both myself and Shizuka.
Testing, testing. 1, 2, 1, 2. Ahem. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, children, and Shizuka.
Why does Shizuka not fall into any of those categories? Wait, why is Shizuka not a lady? Shizuka was still mostly asleep and didn't seem to care much about the attempted slight from Dai. I leapt out of bed. I had no interest in being tardy on Dai's watch. Shizuka, get out of bed. We have to go.
No, I'm asleep.
Shizuka slurred her words, turning over and trying her best to ignore me. Seriously, Dai summoned us. Get up. Shizuka was now blatantly ignoring me. I didn't have time for this. I bent down and scooped her up in my arms, blanket and all. I was delivering her to the dining hall, whether she liked it or not.
Hey, put me down!
Not until we're in the dining hall. Shizuka wriggled in vain for a moment before resigning herself to her fate. Due to my extra baggage, it took a few minutes longer than usual, but we finally arrived in the dining hall. Only Katashi and Dai were present.
Am I interrupting something? I can come back later. No, wait. Why should I come back later? You come back later!
Come back where?
It's too early for your nonsense.
Huh?
I don't know why you're insistent on pushing my buttons this morning.
I just got here.
But I suggest you stop.
Okay. I'm sorry, Dai.
Apology accepted. Now then, it's good to see you all gathered here. I've just informed the others that it's time for a good old-fashioned team meeting. They should be here any minute now.
Silence crept over the room as we all stood, waiting.
So, Shizuka,
Really? Dai was going to do small talk?
played any interesting games lately?
Shizuka, ever gullible, didn't even pause to think about the ulterior motives behind Dai's question, and she began to rattle off facts about her latest interest.
I have just started playing a game called The Letter.
Boring.
It's a horror game.
I changed my mind. I'm so interested.
You play...
Just as Shizuka began to explain the intricacies of the game's plot, the rest of the team showed up.
Oh, goody. Everyone's here. Enough about your game, Shizuka. Now for the real game. Welcome to the new round of the Deletion Game. Vampire Children.
Alright, I'm gonna skip ahead to past this crap. We got it.
Excellent.
Dies up, yeah,
We
okay.
understand that you have a
skip.
choice in Deletion Game care.
Here we go. I woke to the sensation of being touched on the face by small, thin fingers. Was this a recurring thing now? Was I destined to share my bed forevermore? I let out a heavy sigh as my cheeks continued to receive an unsolicited prodding. I opened my eyes to find Shizuka next to me.
You have to wake up.
Why, what time is it?
Just after 4 a.m.
Why do I have to get up? I want to finish
The
sleeping.
captain wants to see you.
Black hole stuff, I know. It took a moment to consider the consequences of disobeying before I responded. Okay, I'm going. Shizuka slid off my bed and made her way to the door. Were you summoned as well?
I'm the messenger.
I was immediately suspicious of her answer, but it was 4 a.m, and I couldn't have cared less right then. We made our way down the hallway together and onto the bridge. Upon arriving at the bridge, we could see the captain pacing nervously.
Shizuka. Thank you for coming.
The captain's interest then piqued seeing me. Yes?
Why are you here?
Shizuka said that...
Yes. Well, I thought that you would be better used to the captain than I would be, so
Both the captain and I stood there dumbfounded by Shizuka.
I woke you up, and now I'm suggesting you as a better alternative.
Wait, are you using me so you can go back to bed?
No.
Shizuka slowly retreated towards the bridge entrance. Subtlety was not his strong suit, but the captain and I could clearly see what was going on.
I'm doing what's best for the crew and the mission.
The captain just shook her head in disappointment. Clearly this wasn't the first time that Shizuka had avoided taking responsibility.
Well, now that this is all sorted...
She slipped out of the door, and moments later we could see Hiro running down the hallway. The captain sighed wearily.
I'm sorry. Shizuka roped you into this. That was not my intention.
What exactly has she roped me into?
I have some concerns regarding the black hole we are approaching. I was hoping to get confirmation of my fears from Shizuka.
I don't like your chances.
You have to choose your battles carefully where Shizuka is concerned.
I see. If there was anything I wanted to know about Shizuka from the captain, it seemed like now was the time. Is Shizuka more difficult to deal with than Beatrix
That
was?
is an interesting question. I would argue that they are very different to deal with.
Really? How so?
Beatrix was more combative. Shizuka is the opposite.
Isn't anything better than fighting?
Have you ever tried to solve a problem with someone who has little interest in being present?
Geez, that sounds like me. Shizuka's like my spirit animal.
If Beatrix had a problem, she came at me, guns blazing. Shizuka, on the other hand...
Didn't give a shit. Won't say anything?
Not only does she not tell me when she is upset, but if I go to her with something I am upset with, she just runs away like you just saw.
Oh,
She does not handle serious conflict well and will avoid it at almost any cost.
nice. How serious is serious?
She is fine when the conflict is just in jest, but as soon as it becomes in any way serious, she shuts down.
I guess everyone has their own way of dealing with things.
I guess you are right. To the problem at hand. Unfortunately, Shizuka has already excused herself, so perhaps you will give suitable counsel in regards to my concerns.
I'll do my best, Captain. Lay it on me.
I am concerned that navigating so close to the black hole is a mistake, and the window to make any flight path adjustments is closing fast.
So this is the usual, but it's worded differently. Captain, I think you made the right decision.
People are already dying on my watch.
Okay, we can
I
skip
don't want
this
to
stuff.
set time.
Avoid time dilation. Repeat
Wise
what
one,
she
but-
said.
Your freedom has been earned. You are dismissed.
Alright, we out. Thank you, oh great and benevolent leader. I made a mock curtsy before darting back to my quarters. And Shizuka's already here, presumably. Ah yes, I forgot my bed was no longer my
Is
own.
that you? Finished with the black hole thingy?
Yes, thanks for the help. Shizuka lay huddled in my bed, barely holding her eyes open as she stumbled over her words. You mean your work? Yes. Yes, I did.
Good work. Okay, sleep now.
She rolled over unfazed and was instantly asleep. There was no point fighting it. To be honest, not only was she cute when she slept, it was also comforting not to sleep alone. Time for the watch? I woke hours later at a much more reasonable time, ready to start the day. I got ready and quietly slipped out of my quarters and headed to the lab, leaving Shizuka to marinate on my drool-stained pillow. Yum. It took half an hour to spread all my parents' work across the tables categorically. I only had one more day before the next round of the Deletion Game. Now's as good a time as any to have a revelation. I stood surveying the vast paper landscape with hands on hip, trying to take everything in.
Knock, knock.
My heart raced as I spun around to see Katashi standing in the doorway to the lab. Ah, Katashi, is everything okay?
Besides being caught in a deadly game run by an angry toaster?
I guess.
Then yes. Everything's a-okay.
Also, an angry toaster? Do you have a death wish?
Why? You gonna snitch on me?
Katashi made himself look very large and imposing. Of course not, I'm on your side.
Good. 'Cause snitches get stitches. Remember that.
I don't think I can forget this moment even if I wanted to.
Good.
I shifted my weight from side to side as I awkwardly tried to segue. So, why are you here?
I almost forgot. Good catch, rookie. Shizuka asked me to ask you if you'd like to play some games with her today.
Why did she just come ask me herself?
Apparently she was in a boss fight or something.
That's fair. So how'd you get roped into being her assistant?
Well, I checked in on her because when she's playing games, she often forgets to eat.
And had she?
She hadn't eaten, but now she has. Thanks to me.
Katashi stood as proudly as a superhero, having just saved a girl from almost certain starvation. So am I supposed to give my response to you so you can take it back to her? Katashi scoffed at my question.
I am her assistant, not yours. Run your...
Katashi gave me a reprimanding look before exiting the lab. I stood once again alone in the lab, staring at the papers with no more understanding than before. Go on then. I was getting nowhere, and tomorrow I might be dead. A few hours of video games couldn't hurt. I left the research where it lay in the lab and headed to the rec room. I arrived to find Shizuka taking up most of the floor space in front of the TV. So what are we playing?
You came!
Your lowly assistant Katashi came and summoned me.
He brought me cake. Best assistant ever.
Aw man, I want cake.
You snooze, you lose.
I'm not sure why I felt so robbed, but I did. That cake looked amazing. Damn it, Katashi.
We're playing the two-person version of Unicorn's Revenge. I need help to finally defeat General Rainbow.
That sounds like Shizuka interrupted me without skipping a beat.
You have delayed your fate for too long, General Rainbow. No longer will the magical minions, the hopping mad stars, the frosty cupcakes, or the flutterous butterflies be held captive under your spell! I, the unicorn of the blindingly sparkly forest and the hero of this story, will rescue all those who are innocent and punish those who are responsible. Prepare your meager defenses and accept your demise at the end of my horn. Mwahahahaha!
Shizuka cackled maniacally. Shizuka?
Yes?
Are you sure you're the good guy?
But of course, I'm always the good guy.
Shizuka tossed me a controller and I settled into a comfortable spot as the game blazed to life. Hours passed and the game's main boss, General Rainbow, still stood. Shizuka was becoming increasingly aggravated. So I was thinking of starting a herb garden. I decided to quickly change the subject. Shizuka stopped her tantrum and looked at me dead in the face, confused by my sudden outburst. I feel like I have a deep connection to basil. Not sure why, it just speaks to me in a way that other herbs fail to do. I can even grow it in my quarters. Shizuka's face screwed up with disgust at the mention of basil.
Basil? Really? There are so many better herbs to grow.
Oh, like what? My distraction game was working.
You know what? I think all herbs suck. Why not grow something delicious like strawberries or chocolate?
I don't think chocolate grows on trees in quite the way you're imagining it does.
I think I do. Katashi told me that chocolate grows on trees.
Well, cacao does.
Cacao is chocolate. It's just like the French name or something.
Uh-huh. There was no way I was winning this one.
It's getting late. I'm going to get ready for bed.
Shizuka jumped up and saluted me as she exited. I begrudgingly lifted myself off the floor. I'm getting too old to sit on the floor. I made my way back to the lab to tidy up before bed. It took me another half hour to put all my parents' work back into the carefully organised boxes. Sheesh, you guys. You'd think with so much of your research available, at least some of it would be useful. I chuckled to myself tiredly as I slipped the watch into my pants pocket and headed back to my quarters. As I entered the pitch-black quarters, I fumbled for the pocket watch, taking it out and placing it in the usual place on the bedside table before shedding my clothes and clambering into bed. I tried to snuggle into the blankets, but met resistance. I pulled violently. The blankets appeared to be caught on something.
Stop it! You're letting the cold in!
Or someone. Well, I guess there was no helping it. I put the majority of my clothes back on before balancing precariously on the edge of the bed, preparing myself for a night of broken sleep. Wow! I was jerked awake by what felt like the cold hands of death clutching at the skin on my back. Once my disorientation vanished, I realized it was just Shizuka. She somehow managed to turn sideways in bed and placed her ice-cold feet square between my shoulder blades. I stood over the bed, rubbing myself warm, when I saw it out of the corner of my eye. The pocket watch was lit up a brilliant green. This is the breakthrough I needed. I grabbed the pocket watch and stared at it, mesmerized as the green lights washed over my awestruck features. And we are going to wrap it up here, obviously, because we are way out of time for this episode. Bit of a cliffhanger there, but in the next one we'll push the button, and then if we've got time we'll go through again and not push the button. So, hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, thanks for getting out with me, and I'll see you in the next one.